This is Angel Alvarez, artist and illustrator, and today I wanted to do a live painting session as I'm working on this what I call Wild Girl oil painting. And this is one that I'm kind of in the wrapping up phase. I have a little bit left, but she's got her layers here. I've got my colors mostly worked out today. I have my reference. I have my color wheel there on my studio and my jars of solvent and medium, oil painting medium. So this is giving a shot for live painting, and I'm just gonna be working here. If anybody pops in, I'll be happy to answer questions and chat with you guys as we're here. I have my computer next to me, and I want to set this up in a way that you guys can see well and talk a little bit about the painting process. If anybody pops in and has questions, I'm happy to answer those too. And let's see if I can wrap this thing up. I'm just going to raise up the painting a little bit. Here we go. Okay. So for this painting, let's see what part I can work on now. So I really love atmospheric perspective, and that is basically a tool that we use to create depth in a painting. So if you notice here, these front trees and this girl standing on the cliff, all this is in the foreground. So my values here have to be stronger, more saturated. That way she comes forward and the wolf comes forward. This mountain range in the background, I really wanted it to recede. So in general, I used very light values, and I have my doggie here popping in the live stream. She wanted to come say hi. This is my golden doodle, Honey Bunny. Honey Bunny came to say hi while we were streaming. Okay, Honey Bunny, you can go. Love you, girl. Okay, good girl. So I was working on these front trees, and right now I've already kind of blocked in my colors. So right now I'm in the super fun phase, which is just creating variety and pushing a little bit the values, like pushing and pulling each side, just creating these details. This is the fun part that we basically leave till the very end. You know, most people want to jump into these details right at the beginning because it is the fun part, but my paints are still wet from when I was working on this earlier today, and now I get to come in here and have some fun and block in some colors and all that good stuff. And if anyone pops in, you know, I can answer any questions related to oil painting. If you're interested in starting to oil paint but don't know where to get started, I got some videos coming up that I'm currently working on here for YouTube on how to get started with oil painting. I just did one, kind of a funny one, on the Maul Stick, which is a little known painting tool. I just put that video out this week. It was a really fun one. People really enjoyed it, at least in all the other social media stuff. A Maul Stick is a little known art tool. It's this bad boy right here. Boom! So it's mostly used for painting details. I'm gonna come in here and use it to rest my hand while I'm painting. I don't need it right now. And I really only pull it out when I want to focus on a detail, or like when I need to kind of steady my hand, which right now I don't. I'm good with just, you know, typically, I mean, in general, I like to paint very loose and painterly. I'm not interested in capturing every little perfect detail. I'm okay with just kind of throwing some paint on here. And this is my other dog here, Bella. I got two dogs, Honey and Bella. They're both here in the studio with me. Say hi, Bella. And hi, Honey. That's Honey. And this is Bella. They're two crazy studio roommates that I have. Here's Honey. And here's Bella. And they're supervising the old oil painting here. So I was saying that when I see some people have popped in, so if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think, what you want to know more of, what you're interested in terms of oil painting, if you do oil painting, if you're curious about oil painting. Oh, thank you. Me there said, looking good. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. So if you're interested in oil painting, if you want to get into it, you know, I'd be happy to answer questions. I'm making a video on how to get started. What are the essential supplies? Right now, I'm in the totally fun phase, which is the very end, or the part where I've kind of blocked in my colors and I can come in here and start adding some details and variety, and this is the fun part basically of the painting process. You know, I tell my students this is the part at the end. We always want to start, you know, with the big shapes and then leave this till the very end. Those fun details that we love. So right now, you know, since all this paint is already wet, I can come in here and I can just, I got my colors laid out here on my glass palette. I like to use a glass palette. And I got all my colors laid out here and arranged. And right now, I can come in here and I like to stay very organized with my palette. And I can come in here and just do the fun part of laying in the details. Thank you, Gerald Malone said, you're good. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much for popping in and watching. Is anybody here an artist? Are there any artists in the house? Or people that want to try oil painting? You know, I got some videos coming up. I did one on using a mahl stick. And now I'm planning one out on how to get started with oil painting. When I started oil painting, I was like, for me, it was very challenging. For a lot of people, it's normal. It's a very difficult medium. But oh, thank you, Richard wrote. That's such a good drawing. I appreciate it. I think like really it comes down to that. Like, you know, when I started learning how to paint in oils, I was lucky that I had been drawing for years. So I think the learning process was a lot faster because really drawing is like foundational. Like a lot of these, you know, old artists and old masters, they'll say that it's really all about the drawing. It's really hard to fix a bad drawing with the painting process. And I think a lot of students think, oh, I'll just fix it when I paint. But it really comes down to having a good solid drawing. And as you can see, we're here in my studio. I have some paintings in the background. I love to draw and I love characters. So I do a lot of the fantasy type stuff, but the drawing is super important. And you guys are catching me at the tail end of this painting. You know, normally it goes through its difficult phases where it doesn't look so good early on, and I'm struggling to figure out the drawing. And you know, this one, like the hardest part really is definitely the portrait and the face. This is my daughter. So I photographed her as reference, but I probably spent a whole good entire session just trying to get her face right, or to the point that I'm happy with. So you guys didn't see that struggle, but that was definitely there. The struggle of getting her face kind of accurate. And right now you guys are catching me on the fun part, which is just playing with the details and the value. This is the part that we want to definitely leave till the very end. Thank you, Fizz on Pause. I'm an artist too, and this is beautiful. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much, and I appreciate hearing you're an artist. So my plan with the channel that was really, I started about a month ago, is to create more of these kind of like painting videos and just talks on being an artist and some of the common struggles that artists go through. You know, because I've been through all those ups and downs of being an artist. So I hope to share that with an audience and with a community, and help some people along the way. I did a video on the journey, like the journey, my personal artistic journey, and one guy, a viewer, commented that it really helped motivate him to know it was his time and to pursue his dreams. And that for me is like super awesome, super rewarding. That made my day when I read that, because it's like, man, you know, I know that when I wanted to pursue art, I was kind of looking for inspiration and looking for people I can use as like hear their story for motivation. So if I could share my story and motivate somebody, that for me is a huge win. Yeah. So I think at this point, I could probably work a little bit on the wolf eyes. Let's do a little bit of the wolf stuff. So I got my reference here, a picture of a wolf. So I never use black on my palette. For my black or my darkest dark, I really use ultramarine blue and raw umber. You put those two colors together, you get a pretty dark, and that's good enough for me as my darkest value. And it's cool too because it has a little bit of let me see if this shows well here. So right now I'm working, let's see if I can move the camera a little bit so you guys can see while I'm working on the wolf face. So I'm gonna work a little bit on this wolf right now. The wolf face. Kind of already did. So I do this typically in passes, you know, and I already kind of did my first pass. This paint is very wet because I worked on this, I've been working on this today, really. So this paint is wet. And I might probably, when this is dried, I'll come in here and do another pass. Like I said, I'm not somebody very interested in doing every single detail or every single hair on the wolf. That's just not something that interests me. I like a painterly look. So I like very, I'm mostly interested in just blocking in the values and more or less what's warm, what's cool, and kind of getting all that right, or at least as I see it. I'm mostly interested in that. Definitely not interested in painting every hair. That's not my thing. I look at painters like, even the Impressionists, really. A lot of the Impressionists, and like I love Velázquez. My dad's from Spain, so I've been to the Prado many times, and it always blows me away how, Velázquez, who painted Las Meninas, one of the greatest paintings in art history, and if you look at the painting up close, it's super loose. Like, Velázquez was not trying to paint every fold in the clothing and all that. He was just, if you look at it from far away and everything looks right, that's the goal. If the values are right, and really it's all about the values to create that depth. So Velázquez was not interested in painting every fold on the clothing. So I kind of always am thinking about that. Whenever, of course, if you look at, painters like Sargent and stuff like that, they were very painterly. They were definitely not interested in capturing every hair and every fold. It's just, for me, I'm most interested in the storytelling. The storytelling is what excites me the most. So when I paint something like this, I'm thinking about this girl and who she is and the wolf and, kind of what's the story going on in this painting. I thought of this as a wild girl that is kind of in the forest, and the wolf is kind of like, they're both the alphas. And they're standing over the cliff looking at their territory. That's at least kind of what I had in my mind. This is my stepdaughter. She was a model for this, and she loves wolves. So I wanted to create this really for her. I mean, she was a model at least for it. So. Okay. I really appreciate everybody that stopped by to check out, the painting, and a lot of people left comments, so that's a big thank you. If anybody has comments on this when the video is posted, please leave a comment. If you have any questions about the brushes, the supplies, the mediums, I'm happy to answer them. I think right now this is looking pretty good to me. I think her face. I might do another pass on there on the dress when this dries off. But I'm trying to think. I frequently step back while I'm painting. So it's the equivalent of me taking a few steps back and kind of looking at the large picture of the shapes and the values and kind of comparing that to the reference I set up digitally. But I'm pretty happy with where this is at. Okay, so let's see here. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for the live stream today. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. I'm going to try to do these once a week. If you have any questions on the video, please let me know. Consider subscribing to the channel if you want more art stuff. And I will see you in the next one, my friends. Thank you so much.